Hi everyone, hope you're doing well from wherever you're watching this channel, depending on your time zone. Now, President William Ruto is hosting several heads of state, among other high-level dignitaries in this country, for that international event, which is actually uplifting President William Ruto. It is putting him to some level there. And of course, that is also meant to help him when it comes to Kenyan politics as well. With that move, as Ruto elevates himself to the world, there is also the other characters that emerged at the same time. And this is after Gachagwa came publicly to address the country and the world at large as far as the character of the man hosting other heads of state and dignitaries in this country, President William Ruto. So wakati kila kitu imetulia, Ruto ana host, amepokea wageni kabisa, amejieleza katika njia zote, amejiweka kipaumbele kabisa. Is somewhere you see a leader articulating on serious issues. Hadi akasema we are manufacturing phones and laptops here or computers. Then Gachagwa comes in, poop, with a bombshell. Gachagwa describes William Ruto as a man who is a threat that has caused the danger that the Horn of Africa is facing. So he put a blame on President Ruto. So he started by thanking the dignitaries for coming. Then he went straight to describe the man they are dealing with. Mmekuja Kenya, karibuni sana. Lakini huyu ndio rais mnadili na yeye. Rigathi Gachagwa described President William Ruto as, number one, greatest disrespecter of the rule of law. Huyu na sheria hawapatani. He described President William Ruto as disrespecter of human rights. That huyu is the biggest violator of human rights. He went further to describe him as a con master and a practicing dictator. Then he went on to give examples, starting with the June 2024, where Gen Zs were butchered in their numbers. You remember when they protested against the finance bill? We know what happened to Gen Zs. The pricing of Gen Zs. How some were abducted. He went further to talk about how 6 Kenyans in Mandera were butchered by Jubaland forces. Why? Because the president opened the border, then allowed non-Kenyan Somalis to take Kenyan IDs. So now they can use even to travel to other countries. Unataka kuenda America, uko na ID ya Kenya. Sasa inasemekana wewe sio Msomali wa Somaliland, wewe ni Mkenya. You go. That one has caused the biggest problem. So Ruto becomes a threat even to the world when he allows such things, because now the Kenyans are getting Kenyan IDs, then they proceed to get passports. That is what Gachagwa said. So without wasting time, I want to leave you here with a video where Gachagwa is now addressing the world as far as Ruto's character is concerned. Yani, amemchomea picha. Watch the video, but remember to subscribe, like, and share.
Here on the danger that the Horn of Africa faces, courtesy of his host, Mr. William Ruto, the man in charge. Thank you for coming. We shall tell you why Kenyans made noise and why they'll make some more noise when you meet them in the streets in your morning. Unknown to Antonio Guterres and Emmanuel Macron, we want to let them know whom they are dining with. Mr. William Ruto, a man who is the greatest disrespecter of the rule of law, the greatest human rights violator, a vicious man, a callous character, a con master and a practicing dictator on internship from Suluhu, Yoweri Museveni, and his contemporaries from other African countries, especially the ones dining at State House now for a talk show. This is a man who in June 2024 butchered Gen Z, see their numbers, abducted others. This is the man who is a real primary responsibility bearer of the war in Darfur, where thousands of women and children are being butchered. Instead of boasting of hosting over 30 presidents in Nairobi, William Ruto must focus on solving domestic issues. 3 days ago, six Kenyans in Mandera were brutally butchered by Jubilant forces who continue to illegally occupy the Kenyan soil. 7 other Kenyans are fighting for their lives in hospital, and not a single word from William Ruto. As we speak, Mandera County remains insecure and a big threat to the peace in the Horn of Africa. This is highly occasioned by issuance of Kenyan national IDs to non-Kenyan Somalis to enable them get an easy access to passports across the world. This has opened the world to terror groups in terrorist shells in Somalia. We are aware of this. And I must say, dangerous trade disadvantages genuine Kenyan Somalis as they are held in suspicion while applying for visas to travel to various nations across the world. Mr. Guterres, be informed Ruto is the greatest threat to Kenyan democracy and human rights violation. Kenya has become a haven of state-sponsored goonism and political intolerance. Ahead of the 10th August 2027 polls, Kenya risks to have over 2 million goons in the streets, courtesy of William Ruto's creation. Kenya risks the Haiti route. Women and children are tortured and attacked in churches with live ammunition, tear gas canisters, and the brutality of clubs and machetes, not once, not twice. Businesses belonging to certain communities are being torched by goons under police escort, and the president remains silent. Mr. William Ruto is, in a mischievous way, creating electoral fear and voter suppression. Kenya risks slipping into anarchy. Might William Ruto be tempted to rig elections that he is about to lose? We urge the world, and especially the UN Secretary General, that the actions and omissions of President William Ruto ahead of 2027 polls. Mr. Antonio Guterres, Kenya has become a global hub for abductions, human trafficking, an international drug superhighway, an international drug destination. Foreigners and asylum seekers in Kenya have no peace. At least 50 foreign nationals have been abducted, tortured, or killed on Kenyan soil. Over the 2 categories: transnational targeting asylum seekers and political criminals, and terrorist-related kidnappings in specific high-risk regions. On the transnational repression and asylum seekers, the government of President Ruto has colluded with foreign governments to seize political dissidents and asylum seekers. For instance, in October 2024, 7 Turkish asylum seekers were abducted in Nairobi in a mafia-style and brutally tortured. 4 were forcibly returned to Turkey, despite international criticism regarding the principle of non-refoulement. In October 2024, Ugandan opposition leader Dr. Kiza Besigye was abducted in Nairobi and deported to Uganda to face political charges in the In January 2025, a Tanzanian journalist, Maria Sarungi, was abducted in Nairobi and was headed to Tanzania for charges and jail under Samia Suluhu, but Kenyans stopped it. Nationals from Southern Sudan, Ethiopia, Tanzania, and Rwanda have been targeted for their political activism or criticism of their home governments. They are not safe in Kenya. On William Ruto's dalliance with M23 rebels, the DRC president was visibly uncomfortable visiting Kenya for the summit, and thereafter he stayed for President Museveni's inauguration, a clear statement of his discomfort with Kenya's interference in DRC Congo. On the issue of peace in the Horn of Africa, Mr. Guterres, now that you are here in Kenya, we have severally warned about the war in Darfur, Sudan, Southern Sudan, DRC conflict, and Somalia. We have also spoken about Ruto's involvement through his good and direct assistance to rebels, especially Mr. Hemeti. Mr. Guterres, yesterday, you described the Sudan crisis as a nightmare and a carnage spilling out of control. You called for immediate ceasefire. You also condemned external interference. You also say this is a grave humanitarian violation of human rights, causing regional instability. You called for accountability. Unfortunately, you are seated with the very men in charge and responsible for what you are condemning, William Ruto. Mr. Guterres, you were seated with the war commander, and he hosted you to a state banquet yesterday night. You cannot talk about normalizing situation in Sudan when you are hosted by the commander and the men responsible for insecurity in the region. Recent exposes by media and other institutions have vindicated me. The following is the list of criminals from Somalia, Zimbabwe, Southern Sudan, and Sudan who have been issued with Kenyan diplomatic passports, and they are housed here in Nairobi by William Ruto, and they continue to cause havoc in their countries. Children and women in Sudan and DRC are crying because of his actions, connections with M23. The media will be giving you a list of criminals, national criminals, most facing sanctions, drug traffickers that have been issued by passports. The worst minister for interior since independence. A man, for the right price, will sell the world. We'll be giving you that list so that you can also cross-check that. The world must know that Kenya is an international and destination as well. In Mr. Ruto's cabinet sits 2 drug barons, Mr. Antonio Guterres. In Russia and Ukraine, as of May 2026, over 1,000 Kenyans are estimated to have been lured into fighting for Russia in the Ukraine war. In deaths reported, many are tricked by force